Be honest, could your business survive without you for a month? Or would things start falling apart within days? Most sellers want to step back and focus on the big picture, but they either don't trust their team, or worse, they don't even have the team to trust in the first place. So they stay stuck in the weeds, grinding through work that someone else should be doing. But here's the thing, your business will never scale beyond 7 figures if it depends on you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3-step process to get out of the daily operations and make your business run without you. Let's get into it. If you are new, my name is Michael. We scaled and sold an 8-figure brand with my business partner, and since then I've helped over 100 sellers systemize their businesses and build the right teams. If you're like most sellers I work with, you didn't start a business just to give yourself another job. But somehow, that's exactly what it's become. Your team needs you for everything, nothing moves forward unless you're involved, and the moment you try to step back, things break. You see the opportunities, but you never have the time or headspace to actually act on them. Because as long as you are the bottleneck, the business can't grow. So building a business that runs without you is actually the best way to scale. And if you want to reach 8 figures, it is the only way to scale. Now, let me start by explaining a key framework we are going to use throughout this entire video. It's the foundation behind every step of this process. If you've seen some of my other videos, you probably already know this. It's called the designing cycle. It's how you systematically remove yourself from the business and buy back your time. Here's exactly how it works. First, you identify the area of the business you want to remove yourself from. Whatever is eating up your time right now, your biggest time sink. Next, you develop the process. You document the workflow, streamline it, and make sure it's repeatable. Having a proper task management system and a company wiki makes this 10 times easier. Then, you need to find talent. You need to find someone with experience who can take it off your plate. And because you've already built out the process, defining what the role needs becomes easy. And lastly, once you find the right candidate, you onboard them and delegate. In other words, you want to transfer accountability. Every time we go through this cycle, we remove ourselves from a part of the business. We are building leverage and getting to a place where our time becomes more impactful. And I want to stress this part. The goal is to remove yourself. So micromanaging defeats the whole point. You do not have time to train someone for 6 months, so don't hire cheap VAs without any relevant experience. They need to hit the ground running and own the process. Now, with this framework in mind, we can get to work. Step 1 is getting out of the maintenance. These are the tasks that keep your business running day to day, basically everything that maintains your current level of revenue. Things like inventory and supply management, PPC optimization, account health, customer service, and so on. Now, here's the thing. Once you hit 7 figures, getting out of maintenance should be your top priority. Because if you stay stuck here, you won't get far. You'll always be reacting. It's nearly impossible to focus on strategic projects when your day is constantly getting interrupted by emails from suppliers, forwarders, PPC tweaks, and buyer messages. The good news is that for most sellers, this can be solved with just a few simple hires. Maintenance engines are actually pretty straightforward. We are talking about repetitive work, so it's not rocket science. So here's how to fix it with our designing cycle. Identify your biggest maintenance time sink. Supply is the most common one, but it can be customer service or even PPC. Quick time audit will tell you everything you need to know. Then start documenting the process. What happens, when it happens, and how it's done. Don't overcomplicate this step. You don't need to write step-by-step SOPs for everything. Remember, our plan is to hand it over to people who know what they're doing, people with relevant experience. If you don't have anyone on your team with the right skill set, you will have to hire someone new. Roles like supply chain manager, customer service agent, and PPC manager will handle this stuff. The next step is to transfer ownership. Make sure that the accountability is clear. It is all about setting the right expectations. Once they are trained and the process is clear, you will get a big chunk of your time back. On average, I've seen sellers free up over 20 hours a week just by getting out of maintenance. But here's the tricky thing. Maintenance processes have a way of creeping back in over time. That's why I like to use a simple benchmark. If you are spending more than 15 hours a week on maintenance, take a step back and repeat this process. Maybe you need more people, maybe your team needs more ownership. But if you do this right, your business should not collapse if you disconnect for a few weeks. If you are finding this content useful, make sure to give it a like and hit subscribe. It really helps the channel and lets me know to keep making more content like this. Alright, so now that you've cleared maintenance of your plate, We're not going to sleep on that. We are going to put that freed up time to good use and start ramping up your growth pipelines by removing ourselves. Growth is generally harder to delegate. It's more creative, more strategic, and most founders feel like they need to stay in control of it. And that's okay. You can still be the one driving the big ideas and direction, especially if you are good at it. But the key is this. You want to streamline your growth pipelines and bring people in so you can focus only on the parts you do best, without getting stuck in all the repetitive steps. The main growth engine for most brands is product development. That includes research, sampling, listings, launches, all the moving parts that go into getting new products live. And that's where bringing in someone like a brand manager can take a huge load off your plate. They can take care of research, marketplace analysis, listing creation, and launch sequences, so you can focus on developing amazing products. Now, if you're around the 2 million mark, this is the time to start ramping up your growth engines. Because let's be real, launching 2 products a year isn't going to cut it. You need to start doing things at scale and actually push the growth. If you are still the one managing every step of the pipeline, you'll never have the capacity to grow at the pace your business is capable of. So again, just like with maintenance, we will follow our designing cycle. Document the process, bring in the right people, and hand it over to them. Now, with each cycle, you are moving into the point of highest leverage for you, where you can actually focus and get better at the things that move the needle. Alright, so at this point, you've removed yourself from maintenance. You've streamlined and scaled growth pipelines, but your team still looks to you for direction. Every big decision still lands on your desk. You're still the one holding everything together. This is the last stage where sellers get stuck. Because even if you are no longer doing most of the work, you're still managing the people who do it. And that's why step 3 is about replacing yourself as the manager. You need someone who can protect you from the chaos of operations. I see this role as a buffer between you and the day-to-day. Because the truth is that even if you've hired great people, they'll still pull you back in from time to time. Well, and if you have multiple people on your team, you are getting pulled back in pretty much all the time. To be truly removed, you need someone whose full-time job is to run the team, solve issues, and keep everything moving without your involvement. And that's your general manager or a COO. This becomes especially important as your team grows. You'll start losing time to meetings, questions, Slack messages. It starts creeping in fast. It usually happens at high 7 figures when you have 5 or more people on your team. In order to make this work, you need to keep your finger on the pulse without getting sucked back into the weeds. That means building a CEO dashboard, a set of KPIs that tell you everything you need to know at a glance. Think about it like this. Every key process in your business should have a few simple metrics that show you whether things are working or not. Just like you track your product profitability or PPC performance, you should be tracking the performance of each core process. For example, let's take shipping. My KPIs might be cost per CBM, average transit time, and a percentage of damaged goods. Those 3 numbers alone would tell me everything I need to know without getting into the weeds. And it's not just about lag indicators like revenue or product launches. You also want to track your lead indicators, the actions that drive results. So instead of just tracking how many products we launched, I want to track how many product ideas we generated this month. Because if that number is low, I already know that the launches will slow down later. Once you've got that kind of visibility, you'll be able to make better and faster decisions, which will be your main job as the CEO. Now, if you want to go even deeper into this, I recorded a very detailed step-by-step video that breaks down this entire process. It's almost an hour long and it walks you through exactly how to implement each stage inside your business. So go ahead and check it out next. You can also apply to work with me one-on-one to transform your Amazon business, implement proven systems, and build the right team. You can find all the details by clicking the link in the description. I'll see you next week.